Hello. Today's stories come from r/BestofRedditorUpdates. Today we have two larger stories with multiple recent updates on stories of the sneakiest of sneaky sabotages. Our first is I think my girlfriend has been trying to get me fired from all my jobs. I'm shaken. Please help me. I'm a 24-year-old male and I've been with my girlfriend, a female of 29. Let's call her Janice, for 2.5 years. I just finished my education when we started dating, and I have been doing all sorts of jobs since, sometimes two at a time. I did this to expand my resume and gather job experience. I worked in cafes, bookstores, a library, a grocery store, and as an English tutor. Most of those jobs lasted about 3 to 5 months. My shortest stay was 2.5 weeks, my longest 8 months. But since I didn't have a hard time applying for new positions, I tried to block it out, though it was kind of eating me up internally. People called to complain about me, people left bad reviews about me, people used my employee Wi Fi access to look up sketchy things on the internet under my name. Former employees called to inform them about me, right name and all, and much, much more subtle stuff that I couldn't disprove, but I was too anxious to do anything about it. I just told my girlfriend, she comforted me, she supported me every time I got my life ruined by these people. But I kept going, though they kept finding me. Fast forward to this week. I currently hold a part-time position at a bakery. I've been working there for 2 months and a half. It's going okay, but my manager approached me about something regarding our Google reviews. Someone was complaining about an employee, and their description of them could only really fit me. It was on a day where we're pretty short of staff, so I could have been the only person in the store on that day for all I know. Anyway, their review contains some pretty elaborate and nasty comments about me. This has happened on one or two of my jobs already. I told my manager that it was all pretty bogus and that someone had a vendetta against me, as it has happened before. She believed me and told me that she'll dismiss the comment. On my break, I checked out the review myself. Their username was kinda stupid. I'm not going to type it out here since I still work there, but I'll just call them McMyrtle, as it was in the same range of sounds kinda fake, but not really. Anyway, I come home but don't tell Janice about it. She has heard it all before, so I didn't see the point in complaining about another time I almost lost my position. We chat, all is well, and she leaves the room. Her phone is on the table, and suddenly she gets a notification or an email of some sort from Google. I don't remember what it said exactly, but the pop up read something along the lines of McMyrtle, manager has responded to your review. My heart dropped. I've been trying to ignore it since. This was 2 days ago. It just fit in the picture of bad reviews. It fit in the picture of the phone complaints my workplaces had received about me in the past. It fits in the picture of all the sketchy things I've been fired for. Why would she do that, though? I'm looking for an explanation. This literally can't be. She's the only thing keeping me sane. I don't know what to do. Whew. After this first bit, I have to say this is pretty messed up. However, the update is a big one, so let's check out a quick reply from OP before we find out what happens next. Someone said, "Please, for the love of God, do not stay with that woman. She is sick. Who the heck does that to someone they love?" Gaia's daughter replied, "Someone insecure and twisted enough to try to destroy their partner's self-esteem to make the partner dependent on them." Nico Osoba shared, "These were my thoughts. OP, your girlfriend wants you to depend on her so she can control you and your life. Please leave immediately and gather all the written evidence or so against her. She may even try to get to you after you leave, so it's going to save you some trouble while convincing people of her craziness." Yaz's House for Tea said, "I'm so glad your manager believes you. Hopefully, this is a time where you can find some stability and start over. I'm so sorry your partner has been sabotaging your employment in this way. Maybe it's to keep you reliant on her so she can always play the role of the reliable and comforting savior partner. Maybe she gets off on the control. Does she hurt you in other ways? Are there any other areas of your life she is interfering with? Are your bank accounts safe and secure? Please look up resources for leaving an abusive partner safely. This is an absolutely awful thing to happen. I'm so sorry. This is not love. You didn't deserve to be treated this way. Wishing you all the best for the future. OP replied, if she's really the one messing with me, she must have my login details to my email, since she would have gotten the employee Wi Fi access that way. So I'm certain she has access to a lot more than I might be thinking of in the moment. Probably all my social media. I don't know if she can read my messages there or not. This Reddit account is luckily not connected to any email, so I hope she won't find this. I don't know how much she knows and doesn't know about my life. I'm scared and I feel disgusted. Our second story is the update, so let's get to it. Update. Hello, people who are still invested. I'm sorry for not updating you guys earlier. A lot has been going on. First of all, yes, we broke up. That's why I'll be referring to her as my ex from now on. Anyway, let's start from the beginning. On the Monday of the following week, I couldn't take the uncertainty anymore. I told my ex I needed her booking account to book a train ticket to visit my dad for a few days. She complied, and when she was in the shower getting ready for work, I booked my ticket and started looking through her emails. After some digging, I found an email to herself which contained a spreadsheet file. I sent the file to myself, printed it out, and took a screenshot. Why? The spreadsheet contained about every single information about me that there was. Numbers, emails, passwords, work times, colleagues, their numbers and social medias, as well as some emails and passwords that she used for accounts to ruin my life with. Everything was on there, conveniently sorted for her to ruin my life as efficiently as possible. When she left for work, I decided it would be best to immediately pack my stuff. Nothing that mattered would be left behind. I felt like a wanted man, like I was being hunted despite nothing being seemingly out of place. I called my boss, told her I would be taking some time off from work, and headed out to see my dad. Needless to say, he was the sanity I needed. I cried about everything I saw. I panicked for a whole 2 days straight about how my life was ruined and I didn't know what to do. He had to sleep on the couch in the guest room because I was so scared of my ex coming in. He handled it like a champ. I love you, Dad. He called the police, a lawyer, and most recently a therapist for me because I was in the most horrible state of my entire life. We are currently sorting out the legal stuff. I haven't talked to my ex, except for letting her know it was over and that she's a sick psychopath. My dad handled the rest. I changed all my passwords and I'm now looking for a place to live. Sorry for the brief update. My mind is tangled. Please ask questions if you want to know more. Edit. By the way, thank you to every single person who gave me advice, talked to me over DMs, and was generally concerned about me. I appreciate every single one of you. It takes a special kind of person to do this sort of thing, and I don't mean special in a good way. I'm surprised OP still has a relationship with his dad. Perhaps it's because he's a train ride away? The girlfriend seems like the kind to completely isolate him from all connections and people outside of the house. Crazy stuff. Before we get to update number 2 from a few days ago, directly on OP's profile, let's check in with comments of people's reaction and also a response from OP to a question of whether the story is fake. Nothing to Say said, "Bro, that's nuts. Why are people so darn twisted? I am just glad you are safe. Thank God for a good family. Now you can pursue the success you are entitled to through your hard work." Curious, did Ms. Psycho have any sort of excuse or explanation for her diabolical behavior? OP replied, "She did, but I have yet to check the abundance of messages she left for me. I don't know if I ever will." Unicornio said, "I think this is 100% fake. This guy sounds like he's writing a book." OP replied, "This stung. Sorry, English isn't my native language, so a lot of my storytelling abilities comes just from reading books. I don't really have much else to base any of my techniques off." The lesser Cornholio said, "Your English is great, dude. I would not have even thought it wasn't your first language." And now for the update from a few days ago. Update. Went back on here and saw a bunch of DMs. And some of y'all came here quite recently. I've answered all of the DMs so far, and before I let the next batch of people wait, you'd think there wouldn't be after 2 years. I'll give you a quick update. Spoiler, it isn't that interesting. We ended up not taking her to court over it. This is quite controversial considering the abhorrent things she's done to me, but I do not regret this decision. The satisfaction of seeing her get punished would have been overshadowed by the sheer amount of dread, anxiety, and fear I would have faced in those court hearings. I was a nervous mess. I couldn't eat for weeks without throwing up. My dad had to settle most of the important stuff because I physically couldn't. Thank you, Dad. On the bright side, our lawyers settled the situation beautifully in private, and I haven't had any problems with her since, that I am aware of. I've moved houses, got a stable job, and found the closure and justice I was looking for through therapy. I hope she did as well. We've had zero contact since then, and I still haven't read any of the messages she sent me those years ago. Of course, I'm nowhere near done with my journey. I still have all of my social media accounts set to private and insist on keeping a low profile online. I still get anxiety, especially when there's problems at work, but I haven't had any panic attacks in months, and my therapist has been great. I don't know how she's doing. I don't know if she's moved on or if she's seen this story float around the web. Hello, YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat. I don't know how much she knows about how my life is currently going, but nothing's happened since then that I could attribute to her schemes. Sorry if this update is kind of a jumbled mess. I just woke up and I've repressed a lot of what happened. Thank you all for your kind messages. Cheers. Thank goodness OP got out when he did. Sounds like he didn't escape unscathed, but he did escape in time to start over. Comments were pretty much universally in support of OP and can be summed up with the top comment. Sweet Advertising said, "Congratulations on your escape and progress." Next up, am I the butthole for blaming my weight gain on my girlfriend? I've been with Stella for 3 years. Over that time, I've put on 100 pounds. I know, it's a pretty extreme amount of weight, and I always chalked it up to pandemic stress, getting older, and relationship weight. I'm not going to lie, I did eat more now than I did before I met Stella, but it never seemed to match the speed I was putting on weight. The maths never seemed to work out, and every time I would get on the scale, I'd be shocked and disgusted at the number and avoid the scale again for another 6 months. I've gone from approximately 180 pounds to 280 pounds, and I'm 5'10". The other day, I had to use Stella's laptop as mine wasn't working for the printer, and I stumbled upon her collection. Apparently, Stella is a feeder. She has a kink where she likes to see people eat and gain weight. More than that, I found a ton of recipes and guides for how to make people gain weight without them noticing, and it made me feel sick to my stomach. The eggs she would make me for breakfast sometimes over 1,000 calories, the casserole closer to 2,000, and the healthy protein shakes she'd make whenever I'd try the gym again. Let's just say they'd undo any progress I'd made in the gym and more. Suddenly, the weight gain made sense to me. I confronted her that night at dinner. I asked her how many calories were in my meal and how many were in hers. She told me honestly, around 800 in hers, 2,300 in mine. I told her that I didn't need that much and that I trusted her to give me normal amounts and that I'd gained all this weight because of her. She told me that she wasn't trying to do anything. She gives me the food and I eat it all. I'd never expressed a problem with it or asked for her to give me less. She said she would have if I'd asked, but I didn't. The weight gain is my own fault. I don't feel like it is, as when you eat a bowl of pasta, you expect it to be 1,000 calories, not 2,000 calories with extra oil, butter, and cheese added in. But she's right. I did eat it, and her cooking was so amazing that I never asked what was in it or for her to change anything. Is this my fault? And was I wrong for blaming Stella? And now for another post that describes the aftermath after confronting his girlfriend. How long does it take to lose 100+ pounds? Hey, so I remember weighing myself back in 2019, seeing that I was 180 pounds and thinking that I could shed some pounds. I'm 5'10". Today, I weigh 289 pounds. I'm scared, I can't lie. That number scares me, and I'm trying to approach this situation with humor because I don't know how else to handle it. Tonight, I left my partner after finding out she was purposely bulking out my meals and hiding it so that I would gain weight as part of some kink she has. For years, this steady but continuous weight gain has perplexed me, and no amount of exercise seemed to hold it off. I didn't think it could be her cooking, as she'd eat what looked like the same and not gain a pound, while my meals had double or triple the calories hidden in them. I had no idea. So, now I'm staying on a friend's couch and I really want to know how much damage she has done. Don't sugarcoat it. I want to know what to ask a doctor, and I want to know how long it'll take me to get rid of all this fat and get back to a healthy weight. Her meals have changed how food tastes to me as well, and I'm worried that it's some kind of addiction. Is this a thing that can happen? Her meals were 2,000 calories plus. Thank you for any help. Oh wow, poor OP. This is so wrong. Preferences and proclivities towards quirky kinks are people's own business, and everyone else should really mind their own. However, harming others and then gaslighting them is not okay. And this pretty much mirrors some of the comments. So let's get to it and check out comments from the Best of repost, where people further dissect the kink aspect of this situation. Cornwolf said, God, poor dude. I hope he gets the help he needs. Kinks are like anything else. Consent from both parties is mandatory. Oh, Halopia said, yep, that. And the fact that she tried to gaslight him into thinking it's his fault takes it to a next level of vileness. Sophia added, part of me thinks that this is not a simple feeder fetish. That element of watching him literally inserting all of these obscene amounts of calories into his own body and then sitting back and watching him get fatter while observing him in a cloud of confusion over what's happening to his body is, I think, what her primary kink is. This isn't a one-to-one example, but the sentiment I sense is when you hear firsthand accounts from serial killers casually chatting up cops before they're caught and being internally gleeful that they're out in the open and nobody around them is none the wiser. Majestic Post shared, being single forever doesn't sound so bad. Someone else said, Reddit makes me thankful to be single most days. Eat More Pie, Drink More said, it makes me appreciate my normal husband and his normal annoyances. Oh, you snore like a moose in heat? Fine, wear the Darth Vader CPAP versus deny there's an issue. Lie about snoring and move out to live with mommy. Oh, Halopia added, I mark this as ongoing even though the relationship side is resolved. His weight loss journey has just begun. And not only did his ex leave him with 100+ pounds weight to deal with, it also changed his perception with food. This part right here is troubling. Her meals have changed how food tastes to me as well, and I'm worried that it's some kind of addiction. Whiskey Cheddar replied, she ruined his taste buds and stretched his stomach. Dude has a long journey ahead of him. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.